Is this staying recording? Oh. Hi, I'm Dennis, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm doing this video is about the Mosin Nagant. Okay, my son Tim gave me purchased this Mosin Nagant and asked me if I would, cut the barrel and put this, bunch of fancy stuff on it and stock it and kind of sporterize it, Maybe an old retired fart that I am. Well, I tore it down looking at it and everything else, and I noticed something. After I tore it down, I noticed that on this one, it's a set of serial numbers and information here. And then, of course, I see the U.S. import stuff here, allowing it to come into the United States. But then I saw this serial number system here. And that kind of goes, what the heck is that? Only time I remember doing that, and I remember this a long time ago, is when I was a sniper. I remember my weapon had two serial numbers. One serial number for the receiver weapon, and the other one was for my scope that went with my weapon. And that way we knew that scope was matched to that weapon, and always so. And then I looked inside, and lo and behold, inside, as you can see right here and right there, there are some, looks like holes with screws in them. But of course on this side it's nice and smooth. And then I look at the metal and it says, wait a minute, that's really highly polished. Little too much fact, and that the regular wouldn't have. And I'm looking at it, and then all of a sudden it dawned on me, this is a sniper rifle barrel receiver. And then I looked at the fixed sight and I looked at it. I says, wait a minute. I flipped it up and looked. No serial number. I says, that's exactly what this is. This is a World War II Soviet Union sniper rifle, owned by a sniper, used during World War II. And the serial number is pretty low. Well, I contacted some people over in Russia, and who are, military historical buffs like myself, and we started jabbering back and forth, and lo and behold, we find out who had it. And the way I found out about who had it was just by mistake. I just said, well, it's just any sniper, right? No, it wasn't just any sniper. Well, maybe it is. To us, it's just any sniper. We, the person had no bearing on my family, or probably too many people here in America. I don't know if they're here in America. They might be. But the stock that came with it kind of was interesting. At first I says, well, when these things come out of the military, they refurbish them, they get a bunch of them together, and they take the parts from all a bunch of them, they kind of make one. Okay, take 3 or 4 and make one. And sometimes they don't have to. Sometimes they just look at them and go, yeah, okay, it meets everything, and they just do this little needling and blocking of holes. And I'm going, is that what they did here? And lo and behold, I found this. And this is the stock of the Mosin Nagant, and that there is its rack number. And it has all the cartouches of the making of when this was being made, okay, for during World War, at the end of World War I, actually. This is 1941, I believe. Something like that, yeah. Anyway, and but this one here was issued to a female Russian soldier. A female sniper. World War II, Soviet female sniper. And I'm going, wow, that's interesting. And so I started doing some research and found out a little bit about it, and it was quite interesting. Now, there are some problems I have. The bolt. Some people says, well, unfortunately, not everything is as what we think it is. Now, look at this bolt. It has a serial number on it. And if we kind of tilt it up a little bit, you notice it's not quite. This should be kind of flat out here, and then it should be a milled down and kind of thing, because you can kind of see some of the work. So this has been milled, this bolt. I'm not sure if this is the correct serial number for this receiver barrel that I have. For the receiver barrel, I don't think these two matched. That's okay. The organization over in the Soviet Union at that time took these and took them all together, and they made the best they could with the Mosins. So they only probably three things on this thing are original: the barrel, the receiver, and the stock. And I think this was another one's, and they just kind of milled this out a little bit and put the barrel receiver serial number on this to make it look like it matched. And on the end, if you can get a good picture of this, Dennis, let me see. Yeah, you don't see any serial number. This would have had a serial number also. So it kind of lends me that this may not be the original. Okay, not completely 100%, but it's interesting to me as a historic context to me. So poor Timothy is not going to get a sporterized Mosin Nagant back from me. This is going to be restored to the way it was when it was issued to this female Soviet sniper. And that's the way it's going to be. He can do what he wants to. The nice thing about it is this other thing I wanted to show you. See the serial number right there? And see how the lines on it are, the numbers have lines going through them? Okay? That's telling you that that's the serial number of the scope system that goes with this weapon, because it comes off and on. It has a boot and everything else, and we know that, unless there are quick mounts and stuff like that, every time you remove a weapon, you have to re-zero it. Well, this design was made in such a way that the mount was permanently affixed, and it had a quick disconnect system for the scope. So it only went on one way, and you didn't have to worry about re-zeroing. So you could remove the scope, but the mount would be there always. I'm going, wow, that's pretty clever. I'm looking for that scope. Friends over in Russia right now. Also, they got connections in the Ukraine and some other areas, and they're looking for that scope. Paying good money. I want that scope serial number. If they can find it. If they can find it. If they can't, I'll just have to put another one on. But that's here or there. I like to restore it as much as possible. Who owned that? I can't say her name. I don't speak Russian. Somebody from Russia that speaks Russian is going to have to come over. I'll give you the paper and show it to you. By the rack number, who it was issued to, this young lady was 17 when she became a sniper for the Soviet Union. Anyway, long story short, the Germans invaded Russia, and her father and her father was killed. Her mother and her were assaulted and raped and all that other stuff. And her brother was maimed and made a cripple. And they were bad to him. And all they were farmers. They had no weapons at all. Anyway, she grew up. After that, she she hated Germans and wanted to kill them. Well, Soviet Union was in the business of killing Germans at that time because of the war. So, hey, a good fit. You hate Germans. We want people who hate Germans to kill them for us, and she became a sniper. Anyway, that's it in a nutshell. So sometimes when you're running around out here, people, you're running around and you get some of these old weapons, you're going to chop them up, make a sporterize. Stop a second, take a minute or two. There's no hurry. The world's not coming to an end. There's nobody invading that you have to do this right away to this weapon to protect yourself. I mean, so just take a minute or two, find out some information about the weapon and its history. You might be surprised what you find. There have been people who have found different things by, stopping and looking a little bit. It's always nice to know the history of a weapon before you do something to it that permanently changes its look and feel and everything else. But like I said, Tim, sorry if you're watching this. Your Mosin Nagant is staying a Mosin Nagant original, and as soon as I'm through, I'll get back to you. It's going to take a while because I want to get the scope. I want to get the scope on it. It's kind of interesting. Anyway, if you have any comments about this subject and what I said today, down below. I like that little finger there. See, it goes boop, 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 boop. Of course, there's nothing there on my screen, but write your comments. Ask me a question about it, or something else, or whatever you want to talk about. I'm open to anything. And please, my children say something about liking it, hitting the like button. Still don't quite understand that stuff, but I'm supposed to say it. Please hit the like button. Other than that, you have a super fine day, and remember, keep your powder dry.